Welcome, everybody, to episode 70 of the You Can't Comp This NBA Trading Card Podcast. We are your hosts, Adam, Amy, and Russell Gibson. And today we are joined by Stephen Wise from F5 Collections. Stephen, how are you this evening?
Good.
No worries. For those that aren't aware, Stephen and I met at the Hobby Hangout, which was
good stuff, Ed.
last week. Russell decided to abandon absolutely everybody, became friends with a monkey, and
but check out my tan.
I'm sure the listeners will be enjoying seeing your tan, Russell. I'm not salty in any way, shape, or form. You actually missed quite a good hobby hangout, I'll have to say.
No, look, I'm sad I missed it, but at the same time, yeah.
Al and I had a very, very good day. Did a lot of meeting and greeting, and that's where Stephen and I crossed paths.
Yeah, good stuff. So you're saying that you collected AFL cards?
Yes, yeah.
And you were a Crows supporter, but
Crows.
you're saying you've collected for 35 years? Because I'm a Melbourne boy.
Yeah, 30
years.
30 years. You were talking about growing up in Melbourne, I think, where we were at.
How long have the Crows been around for? Because did you support
over 30 years? Yeah.
Did you support a Melbourne team before you went for the Crows, or did you just go straight to the Crows?
Oh no, I was mainly local SANFL footy.
Right. Okay.
And then loosely Bombers, because I follow West Adelaide here, and it's a very similar Guernsey. So it's a black and red Guernsey. So it was loosely the Bombers, but yeah, mainly SANFL footy before that, and that's when it was big.
So then, tell us about your collecting and sort of where you went from there.
Yeah, so pretty much once the Crows entered the competition, the AFL in '91, really got into collecting again then. So that really expanded on there, and of course the sets were a lot smaller then. So it was pretty easy to get your team collection together back then in the early '90s. But as the hobby has grown, the sets have just got bigger and bigger. Like you're seeing in many sports and many collections these days, they just got bigger and bigger. So, but it's been a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it. Obviously, numbered cards and patch cards and everything that's now available is just it's just through the roof, and it's just brilliant now. So
what parallels do you think there's between footy and NBA?
Oh, there's a lot. I think mainly because a lot of the AFL stuff is probably following the US market anyway, and what basketball's doing anyway. So it's probably a year or two behind what you're seeing as far as that goes. So there's a lot of common ground, I think. So it's good to watch what's going on in the NBA card scene to see where it might be with the AFL, a year or two later. So I think there's a lot of common.
I'm not heavy into AFL, but I've seen some of the high end stuff where it almost looks like flawless type cards, and they call it Select. Is that correct?
Yeah, so Select is the brand that's licensed for the AFL product. So just the one licensed manufacturer. So they've got Supremacy, which is the high end brand, and then there's also Brilliance is another one that they produce as well. High end numbered cards, very similar to Flawless. So, top quality, low print numbers. So the quality is, that's where your real hobbyists, your real keen collectors are chasing those cards.
And so are the patches game worn, or are they just like random pieces?
They are, yes. And certainly, and signatures on card as well. So the other big thing too. So no stickers. So
pardon my dogs, by the way.
So yes, all signatures are on card.
And tell us about sort of how you got to that sort of flawless point, because I really feel like there's not that many people that start at the flawless end or the Supremacy end,
No, they don't.
Where did you? Yeah. What's your earliest memory of collecting cards, or or walking around with cards in your pocket, or
So the
earliest, where you at with that?
Earliest would have been when I was living in Victoria. Collecting the Scanlans cards in the 70s.
They're the ones I've got. Yep.
unfortunately, then it was a rubber band around the stack of cards you had. You'd
Well, you didn't have
occasionally
to worry about it wrecking the edges on those because they had
no.
rounded corners.
Well, some of them did, but some of them they certainly became rounded corners, even when they weren't designed that way. But yeah, so certainly, geez, I'd love to have those in good conditions these days because some of them would be great in the collection.
Yeah, for sure.
But certainly that's my first memory of collecting cards and swapping in the schoolyard. That was always great fun, and occasionally putting the cards on the spoke of the bike as well, with a peg for the teams that you didn't like or the players you didn't like.
Yeah.
So and then moving to South Australia, when I was about 11 or 12, and then there was a few local footy cards, so SANFL footy cards produced, so started collecting those. So that sort of continued on. Like many people, you fall out of the hobby, as you're growing up, but then, got back into it with a mate when the Crows were formed in 91. So that's where it really started to grow from there, and it's just continued to grow really from there.
So how long do you think you were out of the hobby for?
I was probably out for maybe 10 years, I suppose.
Yeah, right.
So, out of it for 10 years. And look, and when I had, kids, my kids are grown up now, but when they were young, I probably wasn't collecting a lot, but still getting
You're interested and
still absolutely interested. But now that they've sort of grown up and, well, even when they were growing up, that it's just increased over time, but to a point where now, I'm running shows in Adelaide, and it's just continued to grow.
Yeah, so talk to us about.
Go on.
Yeah, talk to us about that. Like, so then you sort of went from like being a collector to running like a collectible business. So tell us about your collectible business and how you got into that and all that, because I find that quite interesting. Like that sort of
it is an amazing. It's an amazing journey of sorts to go from that. You start collecting cards, and then all of a sudden you end up with a business, and then the business grows.
That's it.
And that journey is very intriguing. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's probably a lot of people like that, and probably just with technology as well, and the ease of selling things nowadays through the likes of various groups and eBay and so forth as well.
Yeah.
Because I can certainly remember back in the 90s that the card shows then, it was pretty much, they were about your only opportunity.
Yeah.
You had to maybe sell some stuff or trade stuff. Maybe a card show that would come around a couple of times a year if you were lucky. And, hopefully it was you were available on that day to get along to it. But, with technology and eBay and everything that's come along, I think has made it a lot easier for people to become a dealer or a seller and set up a little micro business or some. It's a lot bigger than a micro business, but
but even if you're just someone that buys packs and you don't want those cards and you want to roll them into your PC, like it's good to have that opportunity to flip them over. Like that's it.
Yeah. So essentially it's just sort of grown from there. So I was buying packs and then started buying boxes, and then thought, well, I need to sort of move some of these on. So like you start listing on groups and eBay and selling that way and trading that way. But then really just saw an opportunity, started to see and hear, it'd be great to have card shows again, because they sort of died off. There wasn't really anything happening, and then started doing some research. Obviously, there's still lots going on in the US. COVID obviously impacted that. But then thought, well, maybe there's an opportunity to get another show up and going in Adelaide. Nothing was happening at all in that space. So at the end of 21.
So your business is not so much like a buying and selling platform. Your business is facilitating shows. Is that what you're saying?
Facilitating shows, yes.
Yeah, right.
A small amount of buying and selling cards, but it's mainly around the shows I run. So that's essentially it. But we had a go in the end of would have been October 21. So we were on the back end of sort of COVID. Mind you, we didn't have the same challenges in Adelaide as you did in Melbourne or in some of the other states. So we still had to be mindful of how many we had in the venue and so forth, and whether we needed to wear masks. So all of those things were on our mind, and we got 250 people come along, and we thought, gee, that's just fantastic.
Yeah.
Knowing that, well, maybe this could grow to be a bit more than just, an occasional sort of thing, but we don't want to.
And I'm half joking, but half serious. That's pretty good for Adelaide. Like, it's not like it's, the population of Melbourne or Sydney or anything like that.
Well, that's right.
So,
yeah, that's it. So we were pretty wrapped with that. But at the same time, the venue was quite small. And it was interesting because we went back to the venue where they used to be in the 90s. And we always thought that was such a big venue back then. But then we thought we need a bigger venue, because I had a lot of people saying to me, look, I want to come back when you're doing the next show. I only had one table. Can I have 2 tables at the next show?
Yeah.
So it really grew from there. So then finding another location that was big enough to accommodate was the challenge. Luckily, we landed on a great venue right in the city, because that was critical for us, that we wanted to be in the city. We didn't want to be out in one of the suburbs. We didn't want to necessarily be, at a rec centre or something like that. We wanted, a great looking venue as well. So that was critical, but it was mainly, we want to be in the city. We want to be able to attract people from interstate as well. So it's easy for them to fly into Adelaide, stay in the city, and then come down to the show, walk to the show. Do you
get many from interstate coming?
We do get a few, yes. Yeah. So a number of dealers come from interstate now. So not as many as we'd like. We're still working on that, but we do get a few people that come over for the show and spend the weekend in Adelaide. People at times are tying it in with, what's going on at Adelaide Oval as far as a football game goes and things like that as well.
Yep.
So the show that's on the 19th of March, Port's playing Brisbane, and I know there's a couple of people flying in to watch that game. So,
nice.
So we're certainly attracting some people for the weekend as well, not just the show. They're coming over for the footy or the wineries and various other things as well.
Yeah.
But so essentially sort of grew from there. We found a much bigger venue. We were a little bit worried at first on how we might be able to then actually fill it, because it was probably 4 times the size as the one we had previously. But we took a chance and we managed to fill it. It's a massive venue. It's called the Drill Hall, Torrens Parade Grounds, which is a ex-military building, but they still use it a lot for parades and so forth. It's virtually right opposite Adelaide Oval. So
nice.
Great convenient spot. It's 56 metres long. It's very long. But it's very easy to walk around the whole venue. So that works really well for us. One we did, that would have been that was May 2022. We did that show. We got 750 odd come to that show from 250, the one in October, to then the following May, 750. Then backed it up with a show later in the year, got over 950. So that's the numbers just keep going up.
Congratulations, man. Yeah.
So we're really pumped about that, and hopefully next week we'll crack the 1,000 attendees. Yep. So that's what we're hoping for.
That's massive. Yeah.
I've got Ados, one of our regular listeners, in the chat saying he'll be there.
Oh, good. Great. Good to hear. Yep. So excellent.
And look, I'll be discussing with Russell, not for next week, but I believe it's November is the next show.
Yeah, so November 25th is the next show, so that's already locked in. That's a Saturday for the next show, but this one's coming up on Sunday. But that's already locked and loaded.
A bit of an in-joke. We're going to do a road trip, Russell. You're driving.
That is a joke.
Yeah, Ados said he's been to the last couple. Good little.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Been good for a little town.
Yeah,
Another crack at Adelaide. Thanks, Ados.
no, well, a lot of people from interstate will say there's nothing else to do in Adelaide, so you might as well go to the show. So,
Yeah.
Well, there you go. There we go. No, it's good to hear the hobby is thriving all over the country.
yeah,
It's good. Now, demographic wise, obviously we're very basketball focused, but I mean the youth, is there much up and coming when it comes to collectors? Are you noticing kids coming along to the shows?
absolutely.
I know Pokemon's the big one as far as the children go, but do we see any young budding basketball collectors out there? Do we
Yeah,
see?
absolutely. There's lots.
Yeah.
So, and we just keep seeing that a lot more. So the good thing about the show, it's really quite diverse. It's not towards one particular type. It's not as if it's all AFL and
Yep.
a little bit of the others. There's
Yeah.
lots of basketball. There's lots of NBA stuff. There's lots of Pokemon. We've got to fit. The soccer side of things is growing as well. But then there's this, a good sprinkling of AFL and non-sport too. So, because I spend my time at the show walking around and seeing what everyone's got. And certainly when the dealers are registering, part of the registration is they have to tell me what they're going to be bringing. And it's quite broad of what they're bringing, anything from Star Wars and other movies stuff as well. So a bit of Marvel as well.
Yep.
So it's quite diverse. So it's great.
Yeah, good to have a little bit of variety. Good to see that there are youngsters in the hobby. Obviously, veterans like ourselves that go along to anything we possibly can.
Yeah.
But yes, it's good to see the young ones. It's good to see there's variety in the hobby, and yeah, it's good to see shows popping up around the country, which is some. I mean, we were asked this a little while ago when we had Jesse on, asking about the Australian scene, and we said it's actually a lot stronger in sports cards and trading cards than people might think from an international perspective. So it's really good to see it happening everywhere.
Yep, absolutely.
Funny you brought up Jesse. I was just thinking about him because Jesse's sort of shtick is more celebrity signatures than actual sports cards. Like he collects, but he's not like massive into NBA. So have you seen any like really cool celebrity signatures or something like that, or memorabilia at one of your shows, mate?
Oh, little bits and pieces. And look, and I know, and I don't want to give something away because I know someone is working on something.
Come on, give us the
we want an
give
exclusive.
us the inside lane. Yeah, give us the exclusive.
I don't know if he's going to have it ready, and he's actually producing it. Someone I know who is actually getting some cards produced, and then there's celebrities that have signed them.
So that must be Tyson Beck then.
It's not Tyson. No, Tyson will be at the show.
Tyson's an SA boy, isn't he?
He is, and he will be at the show. So he was at the last one and very popular. As you could appreciate.
Yeah,
but
Tyson's done really well for himself.
For this one, and he always wants to come to these shows, but it's just whether he's going to be available or not. So, but yes, he's back again for this one. So, but no, there's someone else that's producing something along the lines of an old movie from a few years back, but it's got quite a cult following, so I can't say any more than that. So because I'll be in trouble.
Now we just have to guess all these cult movies. Yeah, Back to the Future, Predator, Rocky.
So, but I know someone who's working on something. So I think they're hoping to have them ready for the show. If not, it won't be long after. But
all right, you need to follow up with this like after your show, because otherwise this is just like.
It's going to kill Russell.
It's just kind of painful. This is not enjoyable listening. This is just,
But
everyone's frantically Googling like cult movies right now.
Yeah, that's it. So I've probably just put the price up for him, but no, he's done well to get this, and I know the person who's designed the cards, and because that's something that a couple of the guys have done. Previously, they've actually designed a card for the show
nice.
and used some older AFL players where we didn't run some issues with licensing. But yeah, that was very popular as well. So
brilliant.
But certainly on the NBA side of things, lots of kids getting into it, and there's plenty of mums and dads and with their kids that are into collecting the NBA cards for sure. There'll be a
Yeah.
lot at the
Awesome.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yep.
sounds like I reckon best of luck getting to that 1,000, that magic number. I think you'll smash it out of the park. Sounds like there's a lot of people that are very excited about the show locally.
Yep.
And it sounds like it's just gone from strength to strength in the last couple of years, and it's just great to see the hobby flourishing.
Yeah, it certainly
in
is.
general.
It certainly is here in Adelaide for sure.
Yep.
And there's a hobby hangout last weekend. Yes, it was last weekend. And to see it so lively there as well was great to see. So,
well, I was going to say let's use this as an opportunity. We obviously have been plugging the hobby hangout, which I will quickly say they have got one in a couple of weeks.
Yep.
They're in Sydney.
Sydney.
I think it's the Roundhouse at Sydney University.
Yes, actually, we need to emphasize that ad because they've just updated the venue for that. So
Have they really?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's hang on. Oh, before we go and plug the hobby hangout, so I just wanted to sort of segue between the two. Have you got the updated details in front of you there, Russ?
yeah, so it's the Roundhouse is the new venue. So
Yep.
University of New South Wales,
Yep.
26th of March, 11:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m.
And that will be the usual, absolutely amazeballs show that they
Yeah.
always put on. And
So
I
it's
don't
probably-
believe I
if you-
just used the word amazeballs, but
That's okay.
whatever.
If you've already got your ticket, just check the ticket address on it just to make sure you're not going to the wrong place. Yeah.
yeah.
They just sent out an email today.
Hobby hangout. Are they sticking to the East Coast? They haven't sort of discussed coming to South Australia yet. I think it's
Well, definitely they
sounds
haven't
like-
gone to South Australia and they haven't gone to Western Australia too. Because I've had a couple of guys say like,
look.
bring the
I was
hobby
going to say
hangout down there.
I know WA is a bit of a trek, but I'd be curious to know what the scene was across there. But let's stay on point. South Australia Card Collectors Show, March 19th. Is that correct?
that is it. Mate. Yep.
Tickets are $5 and
$5. Yep.
What time does it start? And what time does it finish?
So 10 a.m. start and
Beautiful.
through to 4 p.m.
Beautiful. So it's actually a little bit longer than the hobby hangout. I think the hobby hangout started at 11 or 11:30.
Yeah.
But
so it's a good 6 hours. We've got guest speakers as well, so 3 guest speakers.
nice.
So that'll be good too. So
Well,
really
yeah.
looking forward to it.
Who are your guest speakers, mate?
So we've got Mayhem Collectibles coming. So we've got Michael from Mayhem.
Yep.
We've got Anthony coming from Neon Trading Cards, Soccer Cards Australia.
Yep.
And also a local business here as well called Slabbed to talk about grading. So
We are quite familiar with the boys at Slabbed.
yes, so Cass is coming along to talk. So they'll have a table at the show as well, and so will Mayhem and Anthony as well. But
Nice.
they'll be our guest speakers. So this is the first time we'll have guest speakers. So, but really looking forward to it, and I think we've managed to get 3 really good speakers. So, looking forward to it.
Yeah, great.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us this evening. Now, you're welcome to stick around. We're going to talk some basketball. But if you don't want to,
I might head off. But look, really appreciate the opportunity to chat to you guys, and I'll
it's our
certainly
pleasure.
keep
Before
you
you-
in the loop about those other.
Yeah, tell us the
cards.
announcement because that would be really good to find out. But
Yeah.
before you do go, actually, I've got another question for you. Then, so
Yes.
the last couple of years, NBA spiked quite badly, and then depends on the
Badly?
terminology.
Spiking is a good thing. Depends where you are, really.
Depends on your
Anyway.
terminology. You can say, well, the market's crashing. You can say
the sky
cool-
is falling.
it's cooling off. You can say that it's normalizing.
Correcting.
And my probably feeling is that it's settled down to a spot now where it's affordable again, and you can actually get a little bit of value out of your money that you're spending. So
No doubt.
I think singles are very affordable at the moment. You can buy sealed product on the secondary market for a pretty reasonable price, and
Yeah.
I feel like the heat has definitely come off it a lot. Like I don't think the excitement is there anymore. But for me, like I'm actually quite enjoying the hobby at the moment. And so, have you sort of experienced something similar with that from your perspective? That's the first part of the question. Then the second part of the question is like, where do you see the next 5 years, where we're going to be? Like, where is the hobby going to be? Because I think someone like you I think you would have a pretty good finger on the pulse in terms of like what's happening, because you would feel,
Yeah.
people coming and going and.
Yeah, that's it. It's interesting because certainly seeing new businesses coming in to the market, and literally we've got over 80 tables at the show, and probably over 60 exhibitors. There's a number of new people and doing Pokemon, NBA, AFL. And I'm seeing more and more card shops open up as well, which is great. And I think Adelaide, for its size, has got its fair share. So
what have you got in Adelaide? You've got Sports Card World, you've got Slabbed.
Yes.
What else have you got?
So we've got then Mayhem Collectibles as well. So like I said, they're one of the guest
Yep.
speakers. So they've got a shop in Norwood, which is just out of the CBD. Yep. Then you've got Bazinga, which is another shop. Now, they've actually got 3 stores, but they do a range of collectibles, but certainly cards is a big part of that. There's another one called Collector World, and there's a couple of others as well, but they're probably the main ones. Collector World's fairly new, but certainly Sports Card World's been around a long time. I know the guys very well.
They are legit OG, down-to-earth,
absolutely
friendly gentlemen there. Like, if you ever do get the chance to go down and meet the boys, they're just, they're just absolutely fantastic people.
Yeah, they are. So, been around since 1994. I'll give them a little plug. They are friends of mine.
They deserve it. Yeah.
So,
for
I
sure.
saw them today. They had a launch of the new footy cards that have just come out, Footy Stars. Yep. So they had a bit of a trade day there as well. So I was there to promote the show. But yeah, it's just great to see lots of new kids coming in. So that's probably the great thing. And I'm also seeing a lot of dads and their boys, or dads and the girls even, with women's sport now as well. So you see some young girls getting into the collection. I think that's certainly something that we're going to see grow a lot more. In certain sports, with collecting as well, around the AFL now having 18 women's teams as well. I think more girls are going to get into AFL and then start collecting. So there's a bit of that product in some of the footy cards now.
So do they have...
Russell's also doing WNBA breaks, so it's good to see that women in sport is really growing.
Yep.
So do they have women's AFL cards? Is that
they do? There's only not a lot though at the moment, but I think that will continue to grow. And look, I saw some young girls today that were, chasing the women's cards. So
that's awesome.
Port and Crows, and I'm sure that's happening across the country as well. So
I think that's where it should be though. Like, if that's something that you follow every day and you really enjoy the sport, and then you can buy the cards at a very affordable price, and like half the fun is the chase anyway. Like,
look, grassroots collecting, like that, when you're young and you're like, if you play footy or you're playing in a junior,
not about return on investment.
No, it's about cool. On the way home from our game, mum and dad bought me a pack of cards, and or I went and traded cards with my friends at school, and I pulled my favorite player out of a pack, or I traded for it. It's the excitement at that age. It's not about
that's
last comps and all the rest of it.
So, but certainly, I think going forward, that's where we'll continue to see growth in some of the women's sports as well. But I think certainly the growth of outside of sport in collecting cards as well, whether it be Marvel and various other themes along those lines, I think that's where we'll continue to see a lot of growth. But I think the market in South Australia is just very, very buoyant, and it's just great to see.
I mean, I'm probably ignorant, but at the same time too, I'm also shocked to hear there's that many shops in Adelaide. Like, and also too, particularly to hear you say like some of them are new, because if you really think about it, if you've opened up a card shop in the last 12 months, which has probably been the most difficult time.
It hasn't been an easy time to do anything.
Yeah,
No, that's right.
because and you've then somehow made it even to break even or turn a profit. Like that to me is actually in Adelaide, frankly, staggering. So I think
For sure.
that's
Yeah,
really interesting to me, actually. Yeah,
yeah. So certainly, yeah. Look, I know when I've visited other states, it's hard to actually almost find a card store sometimes, depending on where you are. But there's no issues of finding a card shop in Adelaide. That you can access them pretty easily. That some of them aren't that too far from each other.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
Oh, well, we might need to set up like an itinerary, like a walking itinerary ad when we go.
Yeah. Damn right.
yep. Well, you can certainly walk from Sports Card World to the show at Torrens Parade Ground. It's about a 10-minute walk.
You
That-
can walk
this
around
is
the
gonna
whole
be
of
the best.
Adelaide in
This is
10
gonna be the
minutes. What are you
best
talking about? We
road
can
trip.
walk from Slabs to Sports Card
Yes,
World to
they're only probably 500 meters away from each other.
So this is going to be
Not
the
far at all.
equivalent of a pub crawl, right? Like it's going to be a sports card
the
crawl.
middle-aged. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it, I don't know. It's probably safer to go to pubs and drink rather than do this.
It's probably cheaper.
Anyway. Yeah.
Alrighty, mate. Thanks heaps.
Appreciate it, guys.
Yeah. Have a great night.
Love what you're doing, and thanks, and look forward to chatting again.
Cheers, mate.
Definitely. Thanks,
All
Steve.
right.
Bye-bye.
Cheers. See you guys.
Okay, the next segment is some fantastic work that Adam has done at the Hobby Hangout, where he's gone around and interviewed a whole range of different people and asking people about how the hobby needs to be regulated. So, Adam, thank you so much for doing this fantastic work, and hope you guys enjoy.
So I'm here with Carson from EJ Cards because Jules is frantically getting ready for his big debut speaking today. Carson, what do you expect from today's Hobby Hangout?
Massive sales, massive deals, and tons of collectors bringing in all their amazing PCs.
Pokemon or NBA? Where do you think it's all coming from?
Probably for me, Pokemon, just because I'm a Pokemon fan, but I think NBA is going to be the big one here today.
If you were a punter, what product would you push the punters towards?
The blasters. The blasters are heavily discounted. They're about half of the retail price, so I'd go for them.
Going for blasters today. Yeah, head on down to EJ's. Hope you have a fantastic day at the Hobby Hangout.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
I'm joined now by Lane Pearce from the Hobby Australia. Now, Lane, if you could help regulate the hobby, what one rule would you implement or law would you make within the hobby?
Well, as the owner of 130 Point as well, my rule would be to make data unified. So, everybody has to label things the right way. They have to have it set up a certain way and keep that data nice and tidy, because then we could all do magical things with it and get more out of it. So, yeah, that's for me.
I think we need to put you in touch with our friend at GemRate.
Yep.
Ryan, I think you guys would have an absolute hell of a time with just working with beautiful data.
Yep.
Thanks for that one. I love that. One's a beautiful one.
Not a problem, my pleasure.
I'm here with Chris Rimpus.
Are we really?
If you were to help regulate the hobby, what one rule would you mandate and why?
You can't pull out of buying deals and stuff. Saying yes to something, then just going vanishing.
Yep. So once you've committed to a deal, there needs to be a way to make sure people honour what they... Yeah, that's completely reasonable. So far, we've had data integrity from our friend Lane. We've got you can't back out of deals.
I remember the vouch system back in the day when the hobby wasn't as big.
Yeah.
And the vouch system actually worked because there were only 600 people in the hobby. So everyone knew each other. And now it's just...
So you couldn't just back out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now it's people overload, which isn't bad, but it's just as I said...
And you've got...
if you screw people on deals these days, who's really to say...
when
it was such a small community, it was easy to manage it, but now...
In a nutshell, it's no takes backs.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Cool. I think you're a bit quicker on your feet. So, Grayson White, the man from Cherry, if you could mandate a law in the hobby to help regulate it, what law would it be and why?
I think this probably, over the last 6 to 12 months, in our space, we've seen too many podcasts pop up. I think there's a necessity for some, don't get me wrong, but I think that some of these fringe podcasts that are starting to emerge are just,
Yeah, no, I agree. We've had a lot of extra weight put on us, where Charlie from Cherry came to us the other week because you guys couldn't put up podcasts and we were burdened with having to get an extra pod up.
Oh, you're
And
a
it was-
podcast?
a bit of heavy
shit,
lifting.
now I feel. Now I'm embarrassed. This is awkward. This is awkward. It could be worse.
We're going to put Dale on the
No,
spot.
I'm not doing it. I
What?
said come back to me, but not yet.
I've come back to you.
I'm not ready.
What rule would you make?
I'm not making any rules. I just want to make more money.
You want to make more money?
Yes.
How do you make more money? What rule would you make to make more money?
Buying Cheshire's cards real cheap and flogging them off.
You heard it here first.
Probably still in a box.
You're saying you buy low, sell high?
Yes. Sell very high.
So we're going from buy low, sell high to buy low, sell very high.
Very
Not
high.
buying very low, just selling very high.
Sell high.
I like it. High.
Yes.
Buying high. You heard it here first.
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
All right, Matthew Yuga, if you could help regulate the hobby and implement one law hobby-wide, what would it be and why?
Or I'd have to go, honestly, no sticky tape on top loaders. I'm getting a bit sick of it. Like having to throw out top loaders. I'm all about the environment, throwing away plastic, reusing plastic. We got to get rid of the sticky tape on top loaders.
Okay, so what's the alternative? How do you keep the cards safe without the use of sticky tape?
Painter's tape. We got to go to the blue painter's tape that you can get from Bunnings. What is it, like $6 a roll? So,
Okay,
yeah.
so hobby approved
Hobby approved.
tape.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
so we need hobby approved tape.
We need hobby
I
approved
like
tape,
it.
yeah.
It's very different. Very
Like
different.
that.
That's good. All right, I've got Jules from EJ Cards, first time speaker at the Hobby Hangout. Are you nervous, mate?
Just a little bit.
Yeah. I think, look, just relax. My advice would be just relax and pretend you're having a conversation with anybody outside the store. Now, store-wise, what are you expecting today? Basketball, Pokemon, mixed sports. What's going to be the big winner?
Pokemon at the moment is probably our biggest by far. It's insane. And I think with all the kids coming in, they're going to enjoy seeing as much Pokemon as they can.
All right, so Pokemon's the big winner. Let's hope it all moves. It looks like the doors are about to open. Have a fantastic show and best of luck up on stage.
Thanks, mate.
All right. I'm here now with Matt Tabe from Mr. Court Kings. All right, got some expecting a good show today before I hit you up with the hard-hitting question.
I would say there'd be a lot of people. As for some people being a good show, it all depends what they sell, I guess. So, some people have to make their money back on what they've spent. So, no, but what I can see already, yeah, it's going to be crazy.
It's going to be a fun day.
Crazy.
All right, I am all about regulating the hobby, and I'm looking for some help. So if you could help regulate the hobby, what would the one rule or one law you would make, what would it be and why?
I do it right now. So my budget repacks are budget for a reason.
Yeah.
So I've created a pack, it's $20. You can't buy a retail or other pack for $20 and get no base in it. So I think just value for money for kids. That's a good way to regulate.
Yep. I love it.
Yeah.
The grassroots.
Grassroots. And they can get, so if they come up at the start of the show, buy one of these, then they've got cards they can go and trade with their mates. And they're not stuck with their polar base. You're not out of pocket a hell of a lot,
I like it.
And I think it's regulating itself now with all the flippers sort of not flipping and shows.
It's unique. I've had different answers from everyone. We've gone from using tradesman's tape, like not using sticky tape and leaving residue. That was Matt Yeager. Lane Pierce from 130 Point said better data integrity. And Rimp said no takes back. No take backs.
Value for money for kids.
I think you've hit the nail on the head, and you've got to start somewhere, right? All right, I'm back here with Carson, Pokemon expert down at EJ's, but I do have a question that I've been asking a lot of the other vendors. If you could make a law in the hobby to regulate the hobby and make it easier for everyone or safer, what rule would you make and why?
Just put in limits as to how much product people can buy. Just because some people go in, they buy all the product that's in stock, and kids can't get the cards that they want. It hurts the hobby.
Product limits.
Yes.
Yep. Just so not like a one per customer thing, but a within reason kind of limit.
So everyone can enjoy the hobby. And
Different limits for different products.
I'd say yes, definitely. Probably stricter limits for booster boxes, but it's all about just getting younger kids into the hobby and building it up, just building the community.
It'll be a tricky one to regulate, but I like the way you're thinking. I like it. Do it for the kids. Cheers.
Thank you to our sponsor, EJ Cards, a small but motivated company specializing in cards. EJ Cards believe passionately in great bargains and excellent service, which is why they commit themselves to give you the best of both. If you're looking for something new, you're in the right place. EJ Cards strive to be industrious and innovative, offering customers something they want, putting their desires at the top of the priority list. Find EJ Cards at www.ejcards.com.au or shop 394 to 398 Middleborough Road, Blackburn, Victoria, and also find them on Facebook. Thank you very much, EJ Cards, for sponsoring us.
All right, so that's the Hobby Hangout taken care of for another season. You're coming with me to Adelaide. You're not pulling out of that one, and you're going to be at the next Hobby Hangout that we go to. How's that?
Sounds good.
Yeah. Also, the boys at Double Coverage would like to catch up at some point. Maybe we can hijack one of their shows.
Great.
Yep, and do some work with them. Thanks again to Al for hanging out with me as well, because that wasn't on the lot of audio, but you guys saw the video that I recorded when we...
Oh, you didn't record Al?
No, Al was in and about, but I went off and asked people about regulating the hobby.
Oh, God, I just assumed that Al would have been in there.
No, Al was talking to everybody else. But I went to work. I just went bang, 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 bang.
It's a missed opportunity. Good stuff, Ed.
Lane was waiting for it. He knew exactly what to say.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. Anyway, let's get back to some normality. You're back in Australia.
I'm back.
Let's talk basketball cards. I really want... There's one name at the moment that I would like to talk about because I think there's question marks over his hobby relevance.
Yeah, sure.
I'm seeing a lot of activity.
Yeah, it's definitely got the Ferrugia factor.
Let's pull the trigger on this one. It's Ja Morant.
Yeah.
You like that? There we go. I was telling people at the Hobby Hangout they should give out free water pistols with every Ja Morant sold. But, look,
So where are you at?
Buy, hold, sell. I have thoughts.
Okay, talk to me.
Buy or hold?
Are you telling me or are you asking
It's
me?
my thought. I said, I might. You said, where am I at? I said, I'm buy or hold.
Oh, okay.
I've got a Ja Morant that I'm holding, and if I see one being fire sold at the right price, I'll probably buy it.
So I think we need to add some context to this because maybe not everyone
knows what's been happening. Let's get into it.
For me, the timeline is this. The first thing that caused controversy is that someone within his associates, or can also be called a posse, shone a laser pointer onto one of the Indiana Pacers staff after the game. And the implication of that is that it could have been attached to a gun. So essentially, you're aiming.
There's an undertone of a threat there, right?
Potentially aiming a gun at somebody.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first thing. Then the second thing that happened was he put social media stuff out, and then it had him lying down with a gun.
Yeah.
And then the thing that just came out today was him at a strip club with literally the entire room. It looked like 3 inches of snow, but they're $1 notes. And then there's how do I say this? The professional entertainer.
I like it. Good job.
Positioned in his lap. So I think that's the...
Sure.
Is that the G-rated or the PG-rated version?
It's PG, but I think you've done very well there.
Yeah, so I think, that's the 3 things that I would probably say for me that stuck out of my mind.
Yep.
So what are you saying that people might see this and get a bit panicky? Is that what you're saying?
I've seen a lot of activity recently with people trying to move jar collections, with people trying to move jar cards.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's a little bit of shakiness as far as, he's been suspended indefinitely by the Memphis Grizzlies. It was at least 2 games, and then they've said it's indefinite because he's going to get help. So Ja Morant, none of these things, in my eyes, take away from the fact that he is a phenomenal basketball player. That's why I'm in hold mode and maybe buy.
Well, the thing about this is it's not devastating injury, and it's not even
Yes.
niggling injuries like, say, a Joel Embiid or a Zion Williamson.
Yes.
And then if you're talking about off the court stuff, so the best example at the moment is maybe Ben Simmons. Actually, that's not the best way to say it, but what I'm trying to say is if you think it's a mental health component that's would affect his game.
See, and that's the thing. I actually don't feel like this is in the mental health bracket. I think this is young, stupid behavior. I don't I feel like he needs a better circle of friends. That's literally it. And needs to realize he's a public figure. There's no, do you know what I mean? Like, it's not.
Yeah, no, I don't think I've explained that really well. What I was trying to say was, like, I don't think it's going to be like Ben Simmons where
This is an ongoing inability for him to get on the court
be something
because
that's
there's
actually
something in
going
his
to
head.
affect his gameplay, and to the point where he's just an absolute head case on the court. You know, I don't think that's what we could draw. So maybe the better comparison is Allen Iverson, who
AI, that's a good one. Yep.
clearly associated with people that
he shouldn't have,
weren't always on the right side of the law, and then that maybe will be his struggle over the years to sort of, you know, keep his nose clean. And look, that's the best comparison you can think of. So maybe now's a good time to look at Iverson rookie cards, because
Iverson, I love
that's
the
fun to segue into that. Like,
from Jar to Allen Iverson. All right, I'm going to bring up card ladder. We'll are we comping these two, or are we?
Absolutely, we are.
Oh wow,
absolutely.
We've gone from buy, hold, sell to player versus player. Allen Iverson.
So 1996-97 Fleer medal, Allen Iverson rookie card. 97, probably Fleer is the one to look at, I'd say. The other one you could look at too is the Tops card.
Tops? Was he 96?
Yeah.
It's a pretty good draft class, that one.
It's not bad at all, really.
Yeah. I know a couple of players that were good in that class.
A little bit tricky in terms of comping this sort of off the fly like this, but 96 Tops card, PSA 10 last sold for $100. I mean, that's essentially a base card.
That's the tops, just the normal tops.
Yeah.
What about the tops chrome? $672. Population of 705.
Okay. So 600, is that what you said?
705. Oh, sorry, 705 pop, 672 last sold.
Okay, great. Actually, that's pretty good. All right, so 600.
Yep.
So the Ja Morant silver PSA 10.
Yep.
Last sold for $760.
Mm-hmm.
And card value has it valued at $762. So that's actually
that's actually really good.
Remarkably close, isn't it? When you think about that all in all. So maybe the Iverson comp is actually excellent because
maybe is that his trajectory? Is that where he's? But he hasn't even got his career yet. This is like at the end of an Iverson. So if he goes trajectory wise, he becomes the same. He's a repeat of Allen Iverson. He's at the right point.
Yeah, I'm totally fine with that. And look,
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that if he kind of plateaus and doesn't get to the promised land, so to speak.
Yeah.
And we all know how much I've been pushing. You need to win a championship to up your hobby value. Like it will. That number of rings is something that people look back on, especially when you're a superstar.
Agreed, but Iverson didn't win, and he still got that nice little chunk of value. I think that's
sure.
That's actually a really fun comp. So
yeah, that's a very good. I like it. I like the
what really makes me wonder though about the Thunder is just how young that team is overall, and I felt a little bit perplexed when they brought in Steven Adams.
Yeah,
but now that you hear about him having all the players only meetings and the things he's been saying, he recently just came out and said we need to stay in on the road, we can't be going out.
Yeah.
So that now that whole signing makes so much more sense, doesn't it? Because you've got someone like Ja that's just feels like just teetering on the edge of
he is. He needs that. He needs someone to anchor him. He literally needs someone.
He needs
to
a
anchor
big
him.
Kiwi to hold onto his legs. Yeah.
Maybe we should. I'll try and start the movement where can we claim Steven Adams as an Aussie and we'll give them Ben Simmons
trade.
Yeah, that's it. We'll just claim.
I don't think no one's trading with you, mate.
You don't think the Kiwis are going to allow it?
No.
Oh well, we can try.
Just a couple other interesting stats on the Ja Morant silver PSA 10. The last 2 weeks, it's down 4%.
Yeah.
The last month, it's up 1.4%. The last 3 months, it's actually down 15.
Mm-hmm.
The last 16 months, the last 6 months, it's down 38%. So the peak of that was actually $1,400.
Yeah.
And now it's almost at the bottom at $760. So keeping all of that in mind, does that make it a stronger buy for you, Ad?
Yeah. I'm like he's there's a lot of questions being asked of Ja Morant, and I thought this was the season where things went the other direction. But maybe it's not. Maybe this is a good buy opportunity.
Well, when you look at the 1 month, the 1 year graph, what that sort of shows to me is that maybe it actually hasn't bottomed out yet.
Yeah. So we're on the slide, and I think we're I feel like we're nearing the bottom of the dip, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. I wonder if it'll go down a little bit more, and then we're not that far away from playoffs time. And if he tears,
I'm excited.
A team a new one.
Yeah.
I've struggled to think that he won't pick up a bit. So it's a pretty solid buy at the moment, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think
I interrupted you, mate. What were we going to say?
Oh, look, I just think depending how long he's out for, is how long the dip stays low. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's all, and we talked about the Ferrugia factor side of it, because it's right in the spotlight, and it's having that people are starting to get panicky and sell the things. But if he comes back and balls out and wins a finals MVP and a title, that's crazy scary, right?
I mean, it just makes your purchase
that much better, because you know
more delicious. Yeah,
of course. Yeah. I think it'll be interesting, and I hope he doesn't get rushed back, and doesn't become a pattern of says he's got it right. We don't want him to become a Lindsay Lohan where he's in and out of rehab, right?
I mean, that part of it is, I think, to hold somebody back until they're
but he's going to hold himself back. So he's got to go and do a bit of reflection. He's got to realize what he's done wrong and go, you know what, I need to focus on the game, and he needs to start working hard.
Because the other thing you need to keep in mind too, when they're suspended, they're not getting paid.
True.
So
he
even
also has a signature shoe, doesn't he? So I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but a 2-game suspension is that's a pretty significant penalty. Like, if they say, look, he's had 2 games off, and there'll still be counselling ongoing in the background. I don't think that he needs to be fixed before he comes back. Like, I think
no. I don't think he's basketball. I think he needs to stay fit, but he needs to keep the eye on the prize. As far as the goal here is to grow up.
Sure.
Right. His goal is to stop with the nonsense, so to speak.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, I don't want to be that sort of old guy. I just feel like, the stuff I was doing in my 20s is like, now you look back, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, but if you're a public figure, it's different. Do you know what I mean? Like, no one was scouring everything, and dissecting every single thing you do in a public setting.
Yeah, sure. But I'm just saying, it just took me more than 3 weeks to grow up. That's all.
Damn right. But you need the plan of attack and the plan moving forward needs to be established for him, and he needs to be on board with it. That's important.
Okay, sure.
Otherwise, and then Al made his little comment to us the other day and said, it's the new Latrell Sprewell. Do we want to do that comp?
No. I'm not buying that. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Not buying that? No? Okay.
Sprewell is a different head case altogether. There's not that many people that try to kill their coaches. I mean, we've all fantasized about it at some point, but he actually tried. Yeah.
This is true. True.
Complete different change of pace here. So Instagram, check this guy out, NBA Cards 777. The way I've described this person is just the regular Joe Instagrammer. So I came across him because he posted a base prism card of Alex Caruso, and I was just like,
I love your form, Alex Caruso, for the win.
This is what we need. We don't always need to have.
Is it? Hang on. A base prism card is exactly what we need.
Yeah, I think sometimes we just overlook these cards and we don't give them enough shine.
Love.
Yeah. Anyway, so then he wrote up a spiel about it. $36.9 million 4-year contract with the Bulls. Caruso gave the Lakers a chance to keep him for less. At the time, Caruso was willing to stay on the Lakers for $30 million over 3 years.
Yep.
Assume he means over 4 years, but that's okay. the Lakers' initial offer was close to 2 years, $15 million.
Yep.
So yeah, like, good on you, mate. Like, keep that sort of content coming. I think, frankly, I find that refreshing, and check it out. NBA Cards 777.
777
Yep.
NBA Cards from pack to sleeve. He's on eBay. Is what I'm
Right.
just reading the link.
Yeah,
but
I think it's
some
I
nice
think his
base
Instagram
there, like,
is
yeah.
linked to his eBay, but that's fine.
That's great. But I'm
Right.
looking at some of the cards. We've got some. It's just nice
So
little
now-
blurbs.
Yeah, exactly.
Involving the player, and I think that's really cool. Yeah, nice. NBA Cards 777.
So now the run sheet says anything that takes Russell's fancy. So as far as I'm concerned, I've got carte blanche.
It's open slather. It's more of a welcome back, Russ. Have you been keeping up with the basketball? And you started writing things, so I get looks as if you've actually done more homework than me. Jeez.
These are the 5 players that have been on my mind lately: Cam Thomas, Cade Cunningham, Tyrese Maxey, Westbrook, and Michael Porter Jr. All for different reasons. So let's just start at the top with Cam Thomas. So we've actually spoken about him.
I was going to say
at least 2 or 3 shows out of the last 4. And I think one of that was because he spiked really hard. And then the general sort of the wise people in the room said sell now. And I was kind of like, well, hang on a second, what should we be doing with these before we just sort of say sell? Let's discuss this a little bit more.
Yep.
So his current price is $18.50. And if you remember, the high was $49. So 9 people sold it for greater than $20 after the spike. So there wasn't that many opportunities to actually get in there and sell it before it came right down. So, you had to be quick.
Yeah.
So if you are looking at his price from when all of this started, so if you say that he started at $6, you could also say that he started at $1.25.
Yep.
You're still up, significantly if the last sale was $18.50. So,
yeah,
look, I think I have to admit when I'm wrong. Like, I think probably in hindsight, I probably should have said sell it when it's high and then rebuy back into the market, now. But at the same time, if you're also being honest about the situation, it was a very, very, very short window that you had to sort of, pounce on. So
it was also a very short window as far as him setting the world alight, because now post trade deadline.
Yeah, so that's the other thing
what I mean?
to discuss too. He's actually had a couple of DNPs and
correct.
I mean, in
now,
addition to
the
that,
roster's been filled out and readjusted.
They're quite a deep team in kind of like an Orlando Magic deep team way. Like they've sort of got this very sort of like aggregated sort of talent amount.
There's quite a diverse talent pool there.
Yeah, I would also probably say too, I think Jack Vaughn and Cam Thomas probably aren't going to have the longest working relationship in the world. I don't think those sort of two personalities mix.
Yep.
And neither does Ben Simmons and Jack Vaughn. So, something's probably going to happen in that space too. So look.
Yeah, true.
We've already done a full breakdown on this. We actually went through even, the box scores on this. So I don't really want to, go back into that again. But I do think that he's someone that you should keep on your radar because he clearly has some talent there.
He's got some talent. If he gets an opportunity somewhere.
That's right. It's going to be about opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Why is Cade Cunningham on your mind?
Yeah, so I think, Cade Cunningham has definitely been on my mind because, and again, I've spoken about him so much, but for me, I think this is just one of those opportunities because I've got no doubt he's going to come back and he's going to come back strong.
Yeah.
And I really do believe that he's being held out to make them lose more games and nothing more than that. So
okay.
These are some of the sales, and this is not obviously all of them, but these are some of the sales that I've been tracking. So PSA 10 Prism rookie card cracked ice, $115 that's sold for.
Yeah.
These are all PSA 10 Prism rookie cards, unless I say otherwise. This is the Silver Wave, so that came out of the premium set. That's sold for $102. The Purple Wave, which I'm a bit surprised about this, that sold for $158. There's been a couple of different sales on that. Sometimes they've been like $120, $130, but one did get up to $158. Another one of the Cracked Ice Orange that sold for $102. The Flat Green, which actually looks really good this year, that sold for $127.
Yep.
I think all of those are really good buys. The other one that I think I need to mention too is a Silver PSA 10 sold for $315 USD. So just to give some context to that, it wasn't that long ago that much lesser players were selling for 600 of the same card.
Jeez.
And in my mind, he's, a much more dramatic prospect than other people that I've probably put money into. And, so I think there's a lot going on here. I think, obviously the market's come down a lot. The market's cool. You can't argue with that. But
Yeah.
him being out, I think, has really put off a lot of people, buying into this guy. But
It'll be interesting to see.
I'm urging
curious.
people to, do a little bit of, work in this space, just because, check the sold listings, go onto Cardlet, have a look at, just go through stuff, because I do kind of think this is like a really nice window of opportunity.
Yeah.
The only thing I would probably add to this too is that you don't need to rush. This window is going to be here for a few more months, because there's nothing.
He's going to be out for a while.
That's right. They're holding him out till next year. So you could even, buy some stuff in the off season. His silver PSA 10 is down 28% in the last 3 months. If we look at the 6-month trend, he's actually down 44%. So that sale that I referred to before for 315, is actually hasn't been logged onto Card Ladder.
Okay.
And that would be the lowest purchase. Oh no, it is here. Sorry.
No, it's logged. No, it is. It is there. It is there. It is there.
And actually, since then, it's trended up a little bit. So
yeah, he's actually sort of somewhat stabilized.
I've been negotiating
like
with
the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been negotiating with people for like a little while to get that. I was really happy to get that price actually. So yeah. The other thing to look at too is, your non-prism one. So the other thing you can look at too is Optic. That's, I think, definitely quite nice.
Yeah.
A retail silver. So that's like the blue one, the Select PSA 10 sold for $26. I think that's quite a nice little buy.
Mm-hmm.
The other one that's sold that I've got in my little list here is a Optic silver for 109. I think that's, if you can't afford a prism, that's a very, very, very good plan B. I would probably go for the Optic over Select too, just FYI. Yep.
Optic over Select?
Yeah, just because I think despite my bias towards Select, I think in the general populace, Optic is more liquid.
Liquid. Yeah, okay. Yep. Interesting one.
So the next guy to talk about is Russell Westbrook.
Wait a second. Russell Westbrook. Now that he doesn't play for the Lakers, we want to talk about Russell Westbrook.
I think you have to talk about how much of a clown this guy is, honestly.
I love it. Do you know he's still working for the Lakers, right? How else are we going to stop the Clippers winning games?
Some of the quotes he's been out with since joining the Clippers is that the whole team is very quiet. Kawhi Leonard doesn't need to say a word. He just does things by example. But don't worry, I'll talk for the whole team. This is the bravado of this guy. It's just...
Love it. I love it.
I really struggle with this guy.
It's called irrational confidence.
He has more irrational confidence than you can even collect,
He's probably got an MVP trophy that is backed up. That sort of justifies his irrational confidence to him.
I don't even know how to answer that. It's like...
But it is. It's like the guy has done some amazing things in his career.
Yeah.
Stat paddle he wants and all the rest of it, but to average a triple-double for an entire season is a feat.
Sure.
It's not... He's no Cam Thomas, but he also needs to know his place.
So they lost 5 straight games.
That was so good, wasn't it?
After Westbrook joined them. To give them credit, they've won their last 3.
Yeah.
Their next game is against Golden State, which Golden State played really well today against the Bucks. And then the game after that is Orlando and Portland. So they've got a half a chance to win Orlando and Portland. OKC.
Mm-hmm. OKC are hit and miss.
Well, they've been very frisky this year, I was going to say. And I actually think they've got enough length to sort of bother some of the stuff that the Clippers do run. So, yeah.
Same as the Trailblazers, though. They could just come out and turn one on. And Dame could drop a 70 piece on...
So if you thought that Westbrook could have dropped any lower, you were actually wrong. So looking at Westbrook's 2008 Bowman Crow rookie card PSA 10, he's actually down 30% in the last 3 months. In the last 6 months, he's actually up 35% though. That's an interesting little tick. So he actually had like quite a large spike up, and then he's come back down again. In the last year, he's just only down 4%. Actually doesn't sound as bad as like what I was looking at initially.
Yeah. But still.
Really interesting guy. Look, his current price of $230 and all of the accolades that you spoke about. And this was the other thing I was going to get to. Card Ladder actually has this valued at $250. So they're saying at the moment this is a good purchase.
Yeah.
And for all my teasing of Russell Westbrook, I actually tend to agree with that. I think that the question is, at what point will he become more liquid and people will want to start to chase this guy? Like, when is that day going to come?
When he is part of the history book. When
So in,
people
like,
don't watch him anymore.
In what, 30 years' time? Or they can't hear him speak or something like that?
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Is that what you mean? Yeah.
That's what I mean. When you go through him historically, and people are like, don't understand why he's so undervalued. If you look at his stats,
There
do
are
you know
some
what I mean?
insane old timers though that no one cares about.
Yeah, it's
like
true.
I would even go so far to say Kareem rookie cards are like hideously undervalued.
Oh, look, hideously undervalued. What's a Kareem rookie?
I think you could get a Kareem cheaper than a Ja Morant.
Oh, Kareem. What's Kareem's?
He might be. It's possible that his rookie card is under Lou Alcindor.
Yeah, no, that's a 1986 Kareem. Is it the 1969 tops?
It's that really long, skinny card.
Yeah. What's the rulers one? Oh, wow. That's cool. I mean, it's not a card by any means, but okay. Well, a PSA 10 of that is worth $1.6 million.
Okay.
Sorry, the card ladder value is $1.6 million. The last sold price is $240K for a PSA 10.
Okay, I was wrong.
Although, all right, so we'll go PSA 9. Card ladder values at $295K. Last sold for $204K. Population of the PSA 9 is 17. Wow. SGC. PSA 8. 22 grand.
All right, I was wrong.
But that's a rookie card. That's a vintage rookie card. So finding something in that condition is going to be near effing impossible.
All right, look, I was talking a whole lot of smoke, but you know the point I'm trying to make here. It's like, I don't know.
I like that you're comping Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to Russell Westbrook.
No, I wasn't direct comping them. I was saying that some of these old school guys are just like hideously undervalued, and you know, maybe Westbrook's going to fall into that sort of kettle of fish, too. And look,
there's a lot of people that hope he falls into a kettle.
Yeah, the guy is annoying. Like, let's keep it real. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. The other guy I think we should talk about too is Michael Porter Jr. because I think historically, like this guy was pretty heavily prospected on.
Yes, he was.
And again, thank you so much to Card Ladder for giving us a professional suite because it's just so good to see the all-time value.
Yeah, this is awesome. This is giving some interesting perspective.
So if you look at the silver PSA 10 and you go to the all-time value, he sat for quite a while in that sort of $100 to sort of $180 mark, and then he went absolutely nuts. So his highest sold price was $1,713, and then it did trend down, but then for a while it was sitting in a pretty average spot of about $1,000. And then since then, he's trended, right down. And since that time, it's been pretty consistent in the sort of $180, $190, dollar mark.
It's been steady.
His last sale was $86, and Card Ladder actually values it at $86. So basically, what they're saying is this is what you should be paying for Michael Porter Jr. The reason why I think that this is a really good buy at the moment is because you only need a minute. And if you don't own any Michael Porter Jr., and I put myself into this category, for me, he was like too hot to handle because he came into the draft as an injury risk. And then that's what's really played out and what has held his career back. But this year he's healthy.
Yeah.
The Nuggets are just an absolute machine. There is a genuine chance that they will win the championship now because for me, the other teams that are sort of sitting at the top of the table just haven't been as stable as the Nuggets have.
It's going to be interesting. I think now that we're getting to the pointy end of the season, we're starting to get to the pointy end. It's going to be very interesting to see how teams start to prepare for their playoff runs, because I think there's still some interesting things going on in the West. I do think the East has sorted itself out, so to speak.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely think at the moment Denver is in the box seat, and I think it's theirs to lose.
Like, you run through every team in the Western Conference and you can literally put an asterisk next to each one. So let's start at the top. The Nuggets, we've already discussed them. Sacramento Kings. As much as my bias, I'm so happy to see this, but I don't think that they're going to be a formidable playoff team.
Yep.
The Grizzlies, we've already spoke about Ja Morant tonight.
Yep.
The Suns, I think getting KD was amazing, but he hurt himself in the layup line. He's out for another 3 weeks.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, if he ends up being like someone like an Anthony Davis that can't get back on the court and is in and out through the play, they're going to have a
we can hold the Anthony Davis line till we get to the Lakers. All right, that's number 9, Adam. Okay, just like hold yourself.
I wasn't even going to talk about the Lakers in the playoffs yet, but if you want to talk about it, we can.
I'm going numerically ordered, okay, and we're not talking about the Lakers until we get to number 9. Okay, number 5 is the Clippers. They've got injury problems. They've got people on injury restrictions. They've got Russell Westbrook. Like, that's enough.
You should have just said the Clippers. They've got Westbrook. Moving on.
Yeah.
Anyway,
the Warriors are coming good, but look, let's be honest. I think their rotations have been a little bit up and down. Maybe they'll pick up and come.
I feel like last year they timed their run. This year they're not quite there as far as the timing goes, but they're the Warriors. So
Draymond's already said their championship runs are over. He said that on his podcast. Like, I'm shocked he said that. Actually,
he's trying to lull everybody into a false sense of security. We know
Timberwolves
this.
Are actually 500. They're 34-34, which actually,
but they're the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Yeah, but if you think about what that team's been through this year and the amount of roster churn they've had,
they're actually one of the worst run organizations in the history of sport.
Look, I wouldn't disagree with that. I think what they gave up for Rudy was ridiculous, but I would you also need to give them credit when credit's due. Like, if you think about what they've been through and now what they're doing, that's pretty good. But still, I think they're going to have some challenges, particularly when Cat comes back. They're going to have to redo everything again. The Mavericks are integrating Kyrie into that. Their defensive numbers as a team are absolutely abysmal. The Lakers are the Lakers. They're just a walking injury and the LeBron James show. The Utah Jazz aren't trying to win. I'm about to message Mike Geo the standings to show him where the Jazz are sitting. The Pelicans are now 32-35. They've had injury problems this year.
Yep.
And then you go down to the Thunder, 32-35. I probably think they're going to start holding guys out very soon
to make sure that
they're going to shut people down. I can't see.
Yep.
Why do they push
the Wembanyama stakes?
Why do they push the Pelicans? For that sort of that spot and the Jazz.
Play a couple of games in the playoff time. Why?
I might be wrong about that. And look, I think the Thunder have been amazing this year. Like, and you need to give them a lot of props, but at the same time, I don't think they're going to be like someone who's going to be challenging the Nuggets or challenging the Kings, even for that matter. So
yeah, fair. But I'm saying, I agree. The Nuggets are the front runners by a ways.
And yeah, that's right. And all of that makes me think that, I think Porter Jr. is looking really good.
Yeah, agreed.
So
Michael Porter Jr. last
$80. Yeah.
Yep. I don't know. Worth a bit of a flutter on a bit of Porter Jr. if you can get it sort of at that price point. Yeah, why not?
Yep. That's me done. That's the things that's been on my mind, Dad. So thanks for letting me get that off my chest. I feel much better.
That's great. And I think you just low key announced that the Sacramento Kings are second in the West.
Look, I don't really want to talk about it just because it's not. No one wants to hear me crapping on about the Kings.
But the funniest thing in? All right, no, I'm going to raise this now.
Sure, if you raise it, I'll talk to you about it. But
De'Aaron Fox.
Talk to me.
Let's have a look, because this man should be spiking something fierce.
So I haven't looked at this because I'm not selling anyway.
That's fair. I'm just saying, silver PSA 10.
So
card ladder value and the last sold price are 6 cents apart.
Yeah, radio.
Card ladder value is $240. Last sold price $239.95 US.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So, and he's up 18.5% in the last 6 months.
Look, I'm not that shocked about that. The only thing you need to keep in mind with Fox, though, is he tanked pretty hard.
Yeah, but that's the Gary V thing, right?
Oh, bloody Gary V.
If only the V friends. Oh wait, they did tank that hard. Anyway, but you look how he's been so stable. The last what 6 months, even last 3 months. Like he's up. He's nearly doubled in the last 6 months. 3 months, sorry.
Yeah.
So 3 months ago, you could have got, if you were lucky, you could have picked up De'Aaron Fox, Silver Prism, PSA 10 for less than 100 US. Less than 100 US.
Yeah, it was.
Current value, recent sale, 240 US.
So I went to dinner last night with a group of friends, and it turned out it was like just coincidence. There was a basketball tragic there, so we literally just talked basketball all night. It was a great night. I did bring up De'Aaron Fox. He brought him up, and he said that he should be all NBA this year.
Probably. Like, no joke. He has been phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I get it. You don't want to speak about it because he's your PC, because you'll feel like, no, but you feel like you're speaking emotionally about the card.
I'm so biased.
The stats don't lie.
Can't be unbiased about it.
But Card Ladder is showing you.
Yeah.
Your boy is in the spotlight, and your boy is killing it.
He's playing really well. I think. Did you watch the Sacramento Clippers game?
I don't watch much of Sacramento.
Okay,
and I definitely don't watch the Clippers.
Okay, so look, it was a double overtime game. So, and I'm saying this to all, I'm not just saying this to you, it's all to the listeners at home. If you have the ability to watch that game, irregardless.
Is that the insane scoreline one?
Yeah, they scored like 170 points, something like this.
Yeah, that's the one. I was going to watch it. I saw the scoreline. Just
watch. It's a really good game of basketball. And I think there's a lot to take away from it. Like, Kawhi Leonard played really well. Tyrone Lue went grayer during the game. Westbrook did Westbrook things.
Westbrook helped you guys get the win.
He actually played pretty good, to be honest, for Westbrook.
He didn't do too bad.
Paul George, played real. Like, you can kind of see like what the Clippers are trying to do. But the thing that I really took away from that game was that the Kings actually were really competitive, and you couldn't have said that about them 2 years ago.
Yep.
And then the way they just sort of just manufactured points, and Fox was like quite a big part of that. So my sort of feeling about this guy is, like, this is not a flash in the pan. I think he's going to be pretty consistent the next couple of years. So
the other one on that roster, I think, has started to really show his worth is Sabonis.
Yeah, Sabonis is an interesting one, isn't he?
Well,
he's been a very good player for a long time, but no spotlight at all.
Well, he's one of the bigs don't get the love, right? Yeah, it's but we can go into probably do some team recaps, I guess, closer to the playoffs when we start getting an idea of who's going to be in and playing what, if you like.
We might need a new rule about like Kings. If I start talking about it, just cut me off.
That's fair.
All right.
I mean,
this is the last Kings I'm going to talk about. All right, Malik Monk. So Malik Monk has been playing amazing. He's up 33% the last 3 months.
Yep.
PSA 10 last sold for $46. Look, I don't think that the value of this is going to, skyrocket or anything like that. But in saying that,
nice, still a nice bit
he's
of pocket
resurrected.
change.
He's resurrected his career, and he was, an earlier draft pick.
Yeah.
If you go back and look at the all-time data
taken
on
like
this guy,
7th or something in his draft.
His highest price for a PSA 10 sold for $250. Like that, when you say that, God, that just gives you a headache, doesn't it? Right?
Prospecting can be dangerous.
Yeah, and recently he actually sold for $12. So
do you know why? And I'll say this is because I know De'Aaron Fox had the Gary V hype, right?
Gary V ruined De'Aaron Fox, honestly.
Yes. Yeah. So I know because I listen. I was listening to a lot of different Ringer podcasts at the time of that draft.
Yeah.
Bill Simmons was so high on Monk when he got drafted.
Yeah, so Simmons likes competitive guys that shoot big shots. Yeah, and
he was shocked when he went 7th. It was like, oh, yep, this is going to be amazing. Was it the Hornets that got him?
Yeah.
Such a good pickup for the Hornets. It's like they're like, this guy is underrated. This guy's going to set the world on fire. And I'm guessing and it's not a bad thing, but this is the influence that people that we can get in the hobby that does impact early price and prospecting.
I think that 250 though, I wonder if that was just in the middle of that like absolute stupid time where people just literally
Possible.
just dropping their
Also
handbags,
possible,
you know,
yeah.
right? But
Yep.
I think the thing about Monk for me is it's all about like time and opportunity. Like we keep saying this is
Yeah.
opportunity cost. It's like
For sure.
like you know the funny thing about Monk though too is that last season if he didn't get re-signed, I wouldn't have been shocked.
Yes.
Like he
was
really
a role
wasn't.
player. He was a not irrelevant role player, but it wasn't really an impactful role player.
Yeah, that's right. And if he was out of the league, I would have been okay. Like fine, you know, see you later. Now
well,
look at
yeah,
him.
you had your chance kind of
Yeah,
thing. Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
So all right, Ad, let's tie this bad boy off.
Let's tie this off. It's good to have you back.
Thanks,
I mean,
mate.
not that the listeners
It's good to see you, mate.
had that. We obviously pre-recorded last week's.
Yeah.
I had a great weekend with Al, but it would have been nice to have you at the Hobby Hangout.
It's okay, mate. Thanks for saying that, but I'm glad you had a good weekend. Yeah.
It was nice to have you back, and we're sort of back to some normality. Thanks to Stephen Wise for joining us earlier. That was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess we better start. I want to start like rather than just wrapping things up and tying them off. I think maybe we should probably outro things a little bit more. Yeah, check us out on all the socials. We're on YouTube. You can @youcantcompthis for pretty much everything. We're on Twitter. We are on TikTok. We are on Instagram. Obviously YouTube, the Facebook group, Spotify. You can catch me on Twitch, which is obviously whether we stream the show live, and that's Twitch TV /ADZ7281 or ADZ. Depends which country you live in, really. Anyway.
I think also depends if you went to Oxford or Harvard, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
You said Yale. I don't know.
Yeah.
or if you went to Victoria University around the corner.
Or Adelaide. Did you go to Adelaide University? Yep.
It's true. Yeah, we've also obviously got our little merch store links. All our links are in the Facebook group anyway.
Actually, Ad, you need to plug your merch store better because I've had a couple of people say, "Where is it?"
What? The merch store? Oh.
We can probably put it into the podcast description, actually.
We can probably update that, pop that into the description. The merch store has launched. I believe it's youcantcompthis.tshirts.net.au.
Right, you better verify this, mate. Otherwise, people.
But we've got fact checkers for that, haven't we?
No, well, but
Andrew Dean will be all over it. I'm joking. I'm looking as we speak.
All right, let's tie this off, mate. Let's go.
youcantcompthis.tshirts.net.au.
Good stuff, mate.
As remembered, and get show merch there. Get some mugs. I'm actually going to get myself a tote bag and a mug that says "Regulate the Hobby" and a mug that says "Show us your comps."
We need break mats. That's what we actually need. Then people can
break
sort
mat. Oh, I like that. Actually
something practical for cards, you know.
You can't comp this from Inked. I can do that. I can research that for sure. And it's a cool merch store because it goes to our Instagram.
I need a new break mat anyway, so this actually could work out quite nicely.
Easy. When are we breaking again? I'm down. I'm down to help out.
Okay. Just message me offline and we'll work it out. Yeah.
It's like, let's have some entertaining, some fun.
All right, let's go. Come on.
Thanks, everybody. Follow us on the socials. Hang out with us. It's good to be back together and doing the things. We will see you all next week. See you guys.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.